Okay, let me once again say good morning to all the listeners of WEFM. At this time, we will be bringing to you today's Shakeup program. Before we begin, we start with our scripture, which is taken from Psalm 68, and I will be reading verse 19. Blessed be the Lord who daily loadeth us with benefits, even the God of our salvation, Selah. Shakeup is an interactive program, which means that you can call to be a part of the program by using the telephone number 457-9997. And with that, you can get us directly through our landline or you can contact us on WhatsApp. Today's Shakeup program is being hosted by Mr. Augustine Ferdinand. And at this time, I will turn you over to the host.
Thank you very much, Dan. Good morning to you and good morning to the listeners of WEFM. Greetings to many of you who are joining us via Star and Garifuna Radio. Also, those of you in the diaspora, the US of A, Canada, the United Kingdom, and across the continent of Europe, to our many students in Taiwan, and I know that the typhoon season is quite busy over there, and I wish everyone that you be safe in this busy period. Also, greetings to many of you, our students in places like Turkey, Morocco, New Zealand, in Cuba, Mexico, across the Caribbean region at the various advanced tertiary institutions. Many of you who are locked on social media as well, on WFM 99.9 Facebook page. I want to hail up my good brother Nelson. I haven't heard in a while. Also OB, as usual, Comrade Noel. Also Phil, the market, Miss Harold, also have Miss Murphy. Also greetings to many of you on your usual side hustle, or if you're on the farm. Wherever you are this morning, a pleasant morning to you. As usual, it's an interactive program, and the number to call and get interactive with us is 457-9997. That's 457-9997 to get interactive with us here on the program. Well, I know that given what transpired since Sunday, personally, the conversation continues with the car boat at the port. Well, hopefully before Friday, because the next cruise ship is scheduled on Friday, all things being equal, the boat should be out by then for us to facilitate the arrival of the next cruise ship that is scheduled to be in harbor. The investigation is ongoing by the Port Authority in terms of the breach of the hull of the vessel. But as I said yesterday, that the reason for this is as a result of the significant damage done to the existing port at Kingston. And obviously, given the size of car boat, the vessel, it cannot dock at Cannon Park, given the inadequate space and given also the water of that area and how shallow it is, it cannot facilitate the car boat. Again, there are those who suggest that, looking in hindsight, that the port at Cannon Park, in terms of its construction, should have done much better in terms of its size, its capacity. But it is what it is. Maybe over time, later on down, the government may consider um, doing some work there in terms of upgrade. But thankfully, we have the modern port that is scheduled to be operational next year, May, June. You know, it's so strange how things happen. And as I said yesterday, hopefully by now, many of you who listened to PM Gonzalez, also to the Minister of Port, and even before that, when former Minister Julian Francis held that position as Minister of Port, laying out the argument for modern port here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And I remember the groundbreaking very well when it was held at where Agricultural Import Warehouse is now. That we understand the argument laid by the government. And even before the impact of Hurricane Beryl, because I hear some comments. A person saying everything now it seems to be because of Beryl. I don't think some persons grasp the significant damage to the economy and to the infrastructure of the country by Beryl. I don't think many persons grasp that. The mere fact that World Bank preliminary estimates put loss and damage to over $800 million. $800 million is not a small sum of money. It's a significant chunk of money. But that is their preliminary estimates in terms of the loss and damage to the economy and the hit that the state of St. Vincent took because of Beryl. And put things into context, before Beryl, you had a port that is there since 1960s. Yes, the authority did some repair job now and then here and there. But as I said yesterday, even in terms of your own vehicle and even your home, over time, no matter the amount of what I call patch job and repair work that you do, at the end of the day, the structural integrity is still compromised. And at some point, you'll have to therefore consider total renovation, or in terms of a vehicle, sell it as quick as you can and get a new one. Yeah, that is the same issue with the port. Even outside of Hurricane Beryl, the integrity of the port already was under some significant stress given how old it is. And with the impact of Beryl, simply speed up the compromise of the structural integrity of the port. But again, we have to deal with the cards we have, and we have the cruise ship here that can take on some of the load. Obviously, we are in the tourist season, and the government and port authority is mindful of that, and we always try and see how best we can juggle. And I remember the Prime Minister himself in the studio here on a Issues at Hand program made mention of that. And he was more or less also highlighting the fact that building materials also had to offload at cruise ship berth facility. And as I said yesterday, the mere fact that a boat with a load of material had to offload at cruise ship berth and not the main port, nor Cannon Park, tells you how woefully inadequate Cannon Park is to take on the load of a car boat, because you can't even do so for building material. But again, you have to deal with the cards that you have. And of course, the port authority is juggling as best way they can to make sure that we get the cruise calls that we are to get, while at the same time trying to facilitate large cargo vessels. But again, like I said, in terms of the update, by what I heard is that more or less by tomorrow, it should be somewhat ready to leave the harbor. But I like to sometimes extend the deadline a bit. So I say before Friday when the next cruise ship is scheduled to arrive. We should see the cargo more or less on its destination, and therefore we'll be able to facilitate the next cruise ship that is scheduled to arrive here on Friday. One of the things, though, I saw a news headline and made mention, and there are some persons who also run with it. They are saying that the let me see it here, that taxi drivers' livelihood are on the line. I don't know how a cruise ship not docking for one day somehow automatically puts the livelihood of taxi drivers, and you may even go to the extent to say to operators on the line. It's just one day. There are many more cruise liners, cruise ships to come. You know, sometimes we take sensationalism too far. But I'm quite sure those of you listening can reason and saying that there's no way where we did not worry about, where we weren't able to accommodate one cruise ship, that it put the livelihood of taxi operators on the line. However, this morning, one of the things I want to touch on is development at Diamond. Persons may or may not know, but on the 22nd of this month, we are to expect the opening of Holiday Inn Express at Diamond Estate area. This is another significant milestone in our developmental quest here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, even in terms of transformation of not only the overall economy, but also that particular area in Diamond. And I know when at first it was mentioned and promised by the Unity Labour Party, as usual, there are those who stated, just as with Sandals, that this thing is an election gimmick. But I think by now, many of you who follow the Unity Labour Party voted for it, read the manifesto, abreast of what is taking place in the country, know by now that many things, especially the major initiatives promised by the Unity Labour Party, that they are being delivered. And there are many examples of that going as far back as EIA, Rabaka Bridge, and the like. Sandals is here and fully operational. And the port, progress continues. And on the 22nd of this month, we will see the opening of Holiday Inn Express Hotel at Diamond, which has 93 rooms and about 30 something there about workers. And I know that the advertisement went out in September for persons to apply for various jobs. And now they are being trained, from what I understand, to be ready and prepared for its opening. And it goes to show that despite the challenges that we face as a small island developing state, the challenges of climate-related events, the eruptions of La Soufrière, pandemic, severe droughts, rising inflation as a result of supply chain issues, Ukraine, port strikes in the US of A, and other things, that the government remains steadfast and resolute to deliver and to continue the progress in even the construction of this hotel. And I remember very well from the opposition side of things, where they were very skeptical to the point of saying that what is the sense building a hotel in such an area? I remember that very well. As a matter of fact, I even remember the argument by the leader of the opposition is that such investment doesn't make sense, and that even the monies of NS would have been better spent elsewhere in other existing hotel establishments, whether in St. Lucia or Jamaica. I remember that very well, of the Parliament of St. Vincent and Grenadines as a record. There are those who say, well, it is very far from the airport. There are those who say there's no beach in the area. And to the extent, and I have it here this morning, where a host for New Times program, at the NDP program, but Francois, and I know some of you already forget this one, where he said maybe the government is building a brothel out at Diamond. I know some of you forget that one. Those are just some of the arguments that the opposition brought to the fore in their criticism of the government building a hotel at Diamond. I want you to listen to this recording by Bert.
Which plane is overnight up there? I can't fly out up there. But I wanted to plane coming every now and again. They bring returning nationals. Let me repeat that. Most of the flights coming bring returning nationals and a friend or a boyfriend or somebody they meet coming here. They're not bringing a plane load of visitors to go stay in any hotel for any 2 weeks. Overnight visitors that bring any bulk of the money. They're not doing that. So we open this as a brothel. They must say open out Diamond. Have to be a brothel. So when a person not in proper integrity go out there and take a 2 night and something. We been in a hotel out Diamond. We been in a hotel. So that when you're all traveling for sports and the plane late, you steady.
Yeah. That's one of the arguments there. NDP program New Times. And say maybe the government building a brothel out at Diamond. It's always interesting. The sort of arguments they bring to the table in their objection to our project. Yesterday, we heard Nigel Nature Stevenson say that the people in Rose Place, they should have stayed where they are in their living condition, which Cummins described as a squalor. And now here today, the other argument is that maybe the government wants to build a brothel at Diamond and that the investment makes no sense. You know, again, strange enough, this is the same opposition that will tell you time and time again that the young people need jobs. Remember that? They push this thing. As of late, we haven't heard that. But whole time they've been jamming in the head of you, the people of this country, that the young people need jobs and that there's no jobs in the country for them and that the economy is bankrupt and there's nothing happening in the economy. Well, here you are. We have an international airport. We have more flights coming, more visitors coming. There's more demand for rooms, but yet the very thing that will create the rooms for the visitors, that will create jobs for people, that will transform that era of diamond, you object to such investment. And to make matters worse, you said maybe you invested monies in that project. Could have been spent elsewhere in terms of NS, the money is elsewhere in St. Lucia in a hotel establishment in Lucia or in Jamaica or in Belize. That is the opposition leader. And then you have Bert, you say, well, maybe it's a brothel that the government want to build out there. Can we imagine that, ladies and gentlemen? That is the very opposition that will on a daily basis ask you to vote for them, to put them in office. An opposition that is anti-progressive, anti-developmental, and simply want the best for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Like I said, you had the advertisement for jobs in September. Currently, there's over 30-something young persons trained and preparing for the opening this month. And Bukit Shore, with what is happening in the economy, what is happening in terms of more visitors to our shows, what is happening also with the continued build-out of the Sovinso Beach Stadium, and the brand of the hotel, it's Holiday Inn Express, and those of you overseas, in particular those of you in the UK as well, where you also have a lot of these Holiday Inn Express hotel chains, you know the reputation of that hotel and their own clientele on what they will bring to St. Vincent and the Grenadines and attract. You know, it's good reputation, and therefore it will make it work. The other thing with the hotel is that given we have the Hospitality Institute neighboring the hotel, and for those of you who may not know what the Hospitality Institute is about, at the St. Vincent Community College, under the Division of Technical Vocational Education, you have a lot of young students who apply and are enrolled in two particular type of programs. One is the Associate Degree in Culinary Arts, and the other is the Associate Degree in Tourism. And students in these two programs normally do their training at the Hospitality Institute. That is why it's called a Hospitality Institute, because you're dealing with customer service, you're dealing with table preparation, anything tourism related. And therefore, that's why on a usual basis, you see a lot of college students from the technical division go there to do their training. Those whom have to do their bartending course, those who have to do their chef course, those who have to do their customer service course, and the like. Now, the good thing and the beauty about it is with the hotel neighboring that institute, these students will have hands-on experience also at that hotel. I've seen it in Barbados and elsewhere where students enrolled in such programs, they get hands-on training experience in terms of customer service and tourism, serving and the like. It's a similar thing that will be done there. And this is where we are going in taking our students, in taking St. Vincent and the Grenadines to the next step. Because I'm quite sure, and I've heard it many times, that those of you listening will say, well, we are building a tourism sector, we are building a tourism economy as well. And therefore, we have to make some significant investment in terms of training pertaining to customer service. Because customer service is very important for a tourism product. Yeah? But it's now 11 o'clock here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So we'll take a short commercial break and then resume with the program.
The flavor nice, it's locally made. Affordable price, Lord, up to $3 retail. When you see we line with the red and white case, show me what you like. It's cigarette from Empire. Holdings Limited, it's cigarette from Empire. Holdings Limited, with over 60 years experience. Hold the best tobacco, best ingredients. Yeah. This is your boy Lou to say, support local, buy your cigarettes from Empire Holdings Limited. 10 cigarettes in a pack for up to $3 retail. Remember, smoking is not for minors.
Yes, sir.
Our industry relies on all of us to play our part. We take pride in showcasing our beautiful island, our craft, our cuisine, and our warm Vincentian hospitality.
Each of us play a crucial role in showcasing our vibrant tourism industry.
We can create spaces where visitors can unwind, connect with nature, and embrace tranquility of our beautiful surroundings.
We need everyone on board to help us create an exceptional experience for our guests.
Join us at our National Tourism Community Consultations as we shape the future of tourism in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
It's everyone's business, yeah. Love it, embrace it.
That could have been you. An accident that could have been avoided because your tires had almost no grip on the road. Safety is a factor that should never be overlooked when it comes to your car or whatever you drive. SVG Tire Sales and Services in Falls Avenue and in Arnisvale carries a wide selection of quality new tires to fit any car, truck, minibus, or SUV, so you can experience a comfortable and safe commute every time. We are agents for the world's most reliable brands on and off the road, including Kenda Tires, the king of the mountain, Cooper Tires, king of the road and track, Ostone, the king of the outback, and High Fly, the king of the Asian highway. We also carry new tires for light or heavy-duty trucks from MRF, High Fly, and Linglong. A reliable set of new tires keep you, your passengers, and your payload always in the safe lane. So when you need quality tires with reliability at 100%, choose SVG Tire Sales and Services in Kingstown, 457-1467, or in Arnisvale, 456-6444. SVG Tire Sales and Services. Performance and reliability proven when the rubber meets the road.
Good morning, students.
Good morning, teacher.
Let's head back to school.
It's time to get the children ready to head back to school with a back-to-school loan from First National Bank. Get up to $30,000 for all your back-to-school needs. No deposit required, low interest rates, and an easy process. Visit us at Heritage Square or call 456-1501 for more information. Let's head back to school with First National Bank. Terms and conditions apply. First National Bank, here for you.
WEFM 99.9, home of quality programming. A source of reliable news and information. Home of legendary voices and music. WEFM 99.9, the clean first sound. Visit us online at www.999wefm.com or call 457-9994. WEFM 99.9, the clean first sound.
Nothing else sounds as good as
WEFM, the clean fresh sound.
Welcome back to our Shakeup program. You are tuned into the Clean Fresh Sound WEFM, and at the moment we have our Shakeup program. Shakeup is an interactive program, which means that you can call to be a part of the program with your questions or your comments using the telephone number 457-9997. And with that, you can get us on WhatsApp and you can also get us on our landline. Today's program is being hosted by Mr. Augustine Ferdinand, and at this time, I will turn you over to him.
Thank you very much, Dan.
Which plane is overnight up there? I can't fly out up there. We wanted to plane coming every now and again. They bring returning nationals. Let me repeat that. Most of the flights come and bring returning nationals and a friend or a boyfriend or somebody they meet coming here. They're not bringing a plane load of visitors to go stay in any hotel for any 2 weeks. Overnight visitors that bring any bulk of the money. They're not doing that. So we open this as a brothel. They must get open out, Diamond. Have to be a brothel. So when a person not in proper integrity go out there and take a 2 night and something. We've been in a hotel out Diamond. We've been in a hotel. So that when you're all traveling for sports and you're playing late, you're steady.
Yeah. That's the NDP for you. You know, it surprised me why they never vote for Bob Francoff to be candidate in Eastern Georgia. Well, you know, that's the sort of argument you get. And you have other sort type of establishment in Trinidad, for example. You have Holiday Inn there as well. You have in Jamaica, etc. But here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines is a problem. Is a problem. And if the embodied opposition leader then said, you know, maybe investments could have occurred elsewhere, not here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. But the opportunities, ladies and gentlemen, because it's not just the jobs that are created directly in this hotel. It's not just the persons who will be staying there as well, their benefit. But you're talking about those who also have to supply food to this hotel. You're talking also about persons like Kingsley himself and other taxi and tour operators who will be able to get more business as a result of more visitors spending time here and staying at that particular establishment. You know, there are those I remember who also said that why the private investor, a private local investor, Mr. McDowell, would build a hotel right at Diamond, Maya Suites. And I remember there are those who were skeptics again, saying, well, you know, it's not near to a beach and this and that and terror. But persons who go to Maya, you see they offer good service. I remember on numerous occasions I called to inquire about availability of room, and there was none. Even I will tell you, even around May this year, there was none. So people come. St. Vincent and Grenadines is a natural place to be. They stay at different establishments, and we based on the recent release, we're the top destination for nature. We are very good in offering ecotourism as well. So we're the natural place to be, and people will come. And you hear of stopover visitors. Stopover visitors, as I always say, much better than cruise because you have to book a room. Before you arrive in the country, you have to find accommodation. You're talking about how now you convert visits into real dollars and cents. And before you arrive to the country, you have to book a room. Obviously, after clearing the airport and having booked a room, you need transportation to get to your place of accommodation. And that is why you'll contact persons like Kingsley and his other fellow businessmen and get the rate in terms of the cost of transportation from the airport to where they are staying. When you reach where you're staying, obviously, you're not going to stay at the hotel 24/7. You want to see, even if you come on a business trip, you want to see what is there that you can enjoy in the country, whether it's delicacy, whether hiking, whether you want to see how the Grenadines look or experience the Grenadines. You have to then take that taxi to the destination that you want to go, whether it may be La Soufrière, whether it may be Dartview Falls, whether it may be going to Dartview, Belmont, Lookout, and etc. in one day, and you book that taxi and tour operator for the day. And if you want to go to the Grenadines, you have to take that taxi service, whether to Wharf or even to AIE again if you want to take a charter and travel to the Grenadines. That's how you make the money circulate and spent in the economy. And as you demand more, of course, you're going to need more food. You have to use the financial services again. And that's how tourism works. That's how the money filters down to the average man and woman in the country. You may want, along your trip, see someone selling something as simple as a wristband, locally made, with the flag St. Vincent and Grenadines, and you buy that. And friends, you may want to drink from a coconut vendor on the side of the road. And these are things, that's how you make the money stay in the economy of St. Vincent and Grenadines. And that is why I always say, in terms of the progress made by getting more flights to our country so that we have more visits to our country from those abroad, it means well for businesses here in St. Vincent and Grenadines. And that is what the NDP fail to realize. You know, often they say the government is pushing tourism but neglecting agriculture. When in reality, what the government is saying is that we have to marry all the other sectors, including agriculture, with tourism. You can't push one and alienate the others. And how you can marry tourism and agriculture is obviously as more people come, they're going to demand more food. And it therefore offers the opportunity for farmers, for fisher folk to supply the food that is needed. Obviously now, and I always say this, it has to be consistent in terms of the quantity, and you have to, of course, offer quality produce. Have to. And you have to think business. And that is where we are going in transforming our economy and taking St. Vincent and Grenadines to the next step. Now, we have an international airport. We have more flights coming. We are building more hotels. We are getting investors also to add more rooms, because as people come, they're going to demand more rooms. Obviously, with more rooms, with more visitors, that is where the government is offering concessions to those who may want to venture or expand their fleet in terms of taxi and tour operation business. You're interested in that? You visit Tourism Authority and they have all the information there in terms of concessions that can be afforded to you who want to get involved in the business. And it brings us to the other thing. So AIA is working. The government is delivering in terms of its promises with more rooms. You have government-invested hotel. You also have private sector base like Sandals, and where the government facilitate that environment to get that establishment up and running. You also have existing hotels, Beachcombers, Paradise, Sunset Shows. You have Maya and the like, who are also expanding. And for next year, we are going to look at hotel development at Mountwin, which is also significant. Now, with the relocation of the current port, like I said, the government will be looking to expand the cruise ship berth facility so that we can accommodate not just more cruise ships, but larger ones, because how they're making these cruise ships today, they're quite large. For example, Icon of the Seas is a very large cruise ship. Part of our development of Frost. And follow me, this is where St. Vincent and Grenadines, this is where the Unity Labour Party government is taking St. Vincent and the Grenadines and continuing the transformation. So we have visitors via air with more flights. You're going to have more businesses for tour and taxi operators. But also, the vision is to have more cruise ships coming to St. Vincent and Grenadines. Larger cruise ships also, where you'll have more than 10,000 visitors on a cruise ship at one time. And that also means, well, for the same tour, taxi operators, and in particular, tourism vendors. Because cruise tourists are interested, they walk through town, they travel in various places for the day, and they buy goodies along the way. And the tourism vendors as well will be able to get more business. And therefore, we will see dividends because of this transformation and where the Unity Labour Party government wants to take St. Vincent and Grenadines. And I remind you, just as the folly, with Board Francois talking about maybe Israel Brattel will building at Diamond, just as the folly with the leader of the opposition who said that is a bad investment on behalf of the government, is the same folly that the NDP made in its argument against the expansion of a cruise ship port facility, where my own MP of West Kingston, Daniel Cummins, who is the chairman of the NDP, said it makes no sense. He doesn't see the reason why we need to expand and increase the capacity of our cruise ship berth facility. Mind you, the Minister of Tourism said time and time again that there are times we have to not allow other ships come in simply because we cannot accommodate them within the day. That is a fact. They had more ships who wanted to come, but obviously you can't hold 2 and 3 up at the cruise ship berth that we have. And some of them are quite large as well. But it's the same opposition, ladies and gentlemen, that will tell you, oh, look at St. Kitts. Oh, look at Antigua. Oh, look at St. Lucia. Reality, the cruise ship berth facility can hold 2 and 3 mega ships. We can't. But at the same time, while you oppose the government's vision and idea in expanding our cruise ship berth facility here, you're telling the people, oh, look, we can't have like what Antigua and St. Lucia have it. No, man. But that is where we want to take St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And I remind you again that Daniel Cummins, the chairman, he was forced off the bat, saying he don't see the reason why. Just as the same argument they made, they don't see the reason why we need to have an international airport. Well, you see what the international airport is doing for us. And it's the same thing where an expanded and increased and developed upper part and eastern end of Kingston will do, where with the relocation of the current port to where we are building the port, it will therefore offer the opportunity for us to expand our cruise ship berth facility, build touristic shops, boardwalk, have an artistic and cultural center at that site as well, and be able to offer a lot to visitors and also to local entrepreneurs and business people. And that's the vision that this government has in store for the people. And you know, speaking of vision, it cannot be denied that this is not a visionary government. It takes great political will to be able to do these things while still dealing with challenges that I spoke of earlier. Climate-related events, droughts, eruption, the impact of the eruptions of La Soufrière, building homes for people, repairing homes for people, making sure food is provided for people. It takes serious political will that despite those challenges, the main agenda items that will further propel the country forward in terms of its own transformation, that they remain priority. So it's not a case where, oh gosh, $800 million in loss and damage, boy, we'll have to put this hotel project on the back burner. It just can't happen. Yes, it would provide jobs to people and things, but right now we just have to deal with this problem. It's not a case like that. The government is saying, hey, you know, the prime minister will always say, walk and chew gum at the same time. As a saying, he has walk and chew gum at the same time. The opposition believes in the opposite. Now, boy, this thing happened, you just got to put that on the back burner for now and deal with what is at hand. But again, when you have a prime minister, a political leader, and a party with vision, you can expect that while these challenges continue, we have to continue with the major agenda items that will transform the economy. And even Jomo Thomas knows that. As much as Jomo may be a critic of the government, he knows that this is the best government suited for the times we are living in. He knows that. He knows that Prime Minister Gonzalez will do whatever it takes to propel the country forward, will do whatever it takes to make sure that the vision that the party has in transforming the economy, that continues. And I'll put this recording for you by Jomo Thomas.
The thing that the ULP has is that even though Dr. Gonzalez had some vision and has demonstrated it, he has a will to get things done. And the best reflections of that is the Ramaka Bridge, when everybody was saying this couldn't be done, and the Argyle International Airport. That is a man with some will and some determination and some mental capacity to do things or to see things through.
Yeah. What he said? He said the Prime Minister has what? Some vision and what? Mental capacity and what else? What else? Vision, mental capacity, and what else? The will. You could have all the other ingredients. But the most important one, after it all, is the will to see things through. Yes, $800, $800 million in loss and damage. Yes, serious devastation. Yes, you have homes to build. Yes, you have homes to repair. Yes, you have bridges and roads and back walls to do. But still, despite those challenges, you have the will to make sure that the major agenda items of the government that you promised the people, that they be delivered. And you know, again, but before I go on, let me take this call. Good morning, caller. Welcome to Shakeup.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
That clip you just played by Jomo, how recent is that?
This was in, let me carry the date for you, but I can tell you that this is during 2022, August 2022. So this was even after the elections, after last election.
Oh, because I thought it was recent. I thought he found some reverse swing.
Well, you can see this is just, now it's 2024. This is 2 years ago.
Okay. Could be in the zigzag that he is.
This is just 2 years ago.
He found some reverse swing.
All right.
Okay, listening.
Blessed love. All right, but yeah, August 2022. He said all manner of things during 2020. He continued to say, but it's just 2 years ago. And he talked about the will of the Prime Minister to see things through. And you know, it's not just Jomo Thomas, but you also had Leacock, who also say that, you know, the things that all that the government is doing, they have to trust the Prime Minister to also see things through. In that whatever the Prime Minister and the government say it will do, book it, show, it will happen.
I've learned in politics to take the Prime Minister at his word. If he tells you so, believe him.
Yeah. What Leacock said, the Vice President of the NDP, I have learned to take the Prime Minister at his word. If he tells you so, you better believe him. If he tells you so, you better believe him. And that is what is happening in this country. The port, it's being built. The acute care hospital, construction started. Holiday Inn Express will be opened in this month. We have a modern medical diagnostic center providing chemotherapy, kidney dialysis, and MRI services. Yeah. The homes, they are being repaired. Some already built as a result of the adverse impact of last eruption. Many thousands of them are repaired, more to be repaired. He said, do the work. He told his students, do the work, get good grades, and he will find the money. Recently, 2,000 students received tuition scholarship. 104 received national scholarships and exhibition bursaries. Whatever he puts his mind to, whatever he tells you, book it, show it will be delivered. And that is what this thing boils down to, you know. Some persons, you know, they talk about elections, talk about politicians and the like. But when you think of it all, that one question comes to mind. Who do you trust to deliver? And not just trust to deliver, but especially given the times we are living in, with significant challenges. And now you have Trump as president, one may foresee more challenges in terms of global economy. Given climate-related events and the intensity of these storms and hurricanes, you can anticipate stronger storms, hurricanes, and more adverse effects to small island developing states. So it also comes down to the question of who do you trust? Not simply to deliver on promises made to you, the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, but who you also trust to make sure that in times of real challenges, experiencing climate-related events, floods, landslides, homes destroyed and damaged, who can you trust to be there in your corner to at least give you some hope that there's a better tomorrow? And hope for a better tomorrow in that your house is damaged, but hey, agree, make sure, commit government resources to fix it, as we are seeing across St. Vincent and the Grenadines, with roofing repair, replacing windows, doors, and the like. Your house totally destroyed, I will commit government resources to give you not just a brand new house, but a house well retrofitted for you. These are the important questions that any voter will have on their mind, especially on that day, the matter of trust. The ability to deliver, the ability to inspire hope. Obviously, any political party that always has the terms can't be done, should not be done, doesn't inspire hope. Yeah? Unity Labour Party say we're going to build an airport. You say, no, it can't be done. It should not be done. We don't have the economy for it. That doesn't inspire hope. The Unity Labour Party is saying, well, hey, we're building a modern port. After that, we have to expand the cruise ship berth facility. You then turn around and say, why is it needed? That should not be done. That doesn't inspire hope. Does it? There's nowhere on earth that inspires hope. Yeah? And important thing of it all is that if you have an opposition that simply cannot do its job, a question was asked or posed to me yesterday about what is the main function of the opposition. That question was posed to me yesterday. But it's now 11:30. So after the commercial break, I will continue the discussion pertaining to that question and the answer for you listeners.
The flavor nice, it's locally made. Affordable price, Lord, up to $3 retail. When you see we line with the red and white case, show me what you like. It's cigarette from Empire. Holdings Limited, it's cigarette from Empire. Holdings Limited, with over 60 years experience. Hold the best tobacco, best ingredients. Yeah. This is your boy Lou to say, support local, buy your cigarettes from Empire Holdings Limited. 10 cigarettes in a pack for up to $3 retail. Remember, smoking is not for minors.
Whether you're ripping it up on the highway or taking a casual Sunday drive, OT Tire Limited is second to none when delivering excellence at reasonable prices. We offer new and used tires, tire repair and installation. We are the only place that offers nitrogen, which helps with gas consumption and ride comfort. Supplying you with brand name tires like Maxxis, Kumo, Good Ride, Westlake, and Triangle.
Boom. Enjoy the VIP style customer waiting lounge with refreshments and free Wi-Fi. You know what I'm saying, yo? This is Skinny Fabulous, and when it comes to tires, nobody makes it easier than OT. Boom! Got me run the road with me OT car tire.
Follow OT Tire on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter today.
Hey, boom! Run the road with OT tires.
At Lynch Caribbean, yes, we offer comprehensive insurance solutions and broking. But we are more than an insurance broker. We drill down to your core business strategy. We keep a pulse on risk to keep your operations healthy.
On your mark, get set.
Along the way, helping you to drive competitive advantages. At Lynch Caribbean, we have your back. Contact us today for insurance solutions, strategic risk advisory, and more. Call 453-3300. Email info@lynchcaribbean.com or visit our office in Beachmont, Kingstown. Follow Lynch Caribbean SVG on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, or visit www.lynchcaribbean.com.
For over 20 years, Cubano Limited professionally delivers top quality products and exceptional service. Located in Sand Hill and Kingstown, we are open Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and on Saturdays, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. We supply animal feed, dog and cat food, animal supplements, your wide range of floral supplies, nursery pots, ground cover and shade cloth, and much more. We also stock a wide range of motor vehicle supplies, including automotive oils, filters for all vehicles, engine coolants, and much more. Email us today at Cubano_1@hotmail.com or call us today 451-2911 or 493-7175. Cubano Limited, professional, top quality, and exceptional service.
Nothing else sounds as good as
WEFM, the clean, fresh sound.
It's time for Shakeup on WEFM 99.9.
The thing that the ULP has is that even though Dr. Gonsalves had some vision and has demonstrated it, he has a will to get things done. And the best reflections of that is the Ramaka Bridge, when everybody was saying this couldn't be done, and the Argyle International Airport. That is a man with some will and some determination and some mental capacity to do things or to see things through.
I've learned in politics to take the Prime Minister at his word. If he tells you so, believe him.
Yep. If the Prime Minister tells you so, you better believe him. That is a man you can trust. As I said before we took the break, yesterday I was asked the question, what is the function and purpose of the opposition? And they said, is it to oppose everything? Obviously, my answer surprised them because I told them, no, it's not to oppose everything. The main function and purpose of the opposition is to keep the government to account. Any government. That is the main function of any opposition, to keep the government to account. That is why, ladies and gentlemen, within the Constitution and even parliamentary practice, not just in St. Vincent, but across the world, in democracies, the opposition provides questions for oral answers. In St. Vincent and Grenadines, we normally know that sometimes the opposition asks between 11 to 21 questions to the government for answers. Those of you, and greetings to you, Evan, those of you who follow parliamentary practice in the United Kingdom in House of Commons, you know that they orally ask these questions, and during Prime Minister question time, the Prime Minister answers. That is the main function. The other thing that shows you that, within the Constitution itself, which is the supreme law of the land, by law, the leader of the opposition, whoever that person may be, is the chairman of the Public Accounts Committee. The Public Accounts Committee is charged in making sure that the accounts of the government, any government, is up to par and looking healthy. I have witnessed in the Caribbean, even in neighboring Barbados in particular, and Barbados has the oldest parliament in the British West Indies since 1600s. I've witnessed in Barbados where a public accounts committee is convened by the leader of the opposition, and on that committee, you have members of both the opposition and government. And what they do is they call government officials. It can also be a minister, but it can be a permanent secretary, a director, a civil servant in particular. In going through statements, audited statements, accounts of various departments and other policy initiatives, to ask them questions pertaining to the accounts of that department and initiatives or policies that falls under that department, to know, well, what is happening, why this is the way it is, why this amount is the way it is. That's what happens in a public accounts committee meeting. Unfortunately, here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, since the NDP is in opposition, you have never experienced that. While the Unity Labour Party was in opposition, you've had public accounts committee meet. Since this lazy opposition, the NDP is where it is, you, the people of St. Vincent and Grenadines, never had this opportunity to see the opposition actually perform that function that is constitutionally required of them to do. And oftentimes, when the question is asked why, you hear all these lame excuses. And to tell you that what I'm saying here is not false in terms of the lame excuses. Some say, oh, they don't have this statement, that statement, oh, the government making it hard, this, that, and terror. I want you to listen to a recording itself where the opposition leader in February of this year more or less admitted that he basically didn't have a clue how to operate the thing. Mind you, this opposition leader was appointed to that position since 2016. I want you to listen to this recorded. It tells you a lot, and to why he basically is admitted that he's still trying to learn to see how he can get the thing functioning. But remind you, this was in February this year. Right? We are now in November.
First of all, let me just say this is a quick roundup about some of the things that I've been doing, because in the last couple of weeks I've been very busy. I've been abroad for a couple of occasions to the UK for a conference I reported on here. And last week I was in Trinidad for a meeting of public accounts committees. That is the other leaders of opposition who generally chair these committees from other countries in the region, Commonwealth countries, in the opposition. But
so, first fact, there are other leaders of the opposition in the Caribbean who perform the function quite well. But just somehow this one in St. Vincent, for whatever reason, can't get functioning. We'll continue anyways.
Of course, we know what the history and the backdrop of that. I'm always keen to learn about the functioning of Public Accounts Committee.
Fact 2. What he said, always keen to learn. Admittance. He learning how to get it done. February 2024.
The way in which we here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines ought to make them function. We've made a kind of agreement amongst us, the representatives from those countries, to get the support from the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association to make sure that we have what it takes to get these committees up and running in the Commonwealth. There must be best practices, and some of the countries in the region, Jamaica, Trinidad, Belize, they have been doing having these committees working at various levels, but we have to make sure that the standards that are set for the Commonwealth, and certainly the ones for the Caribbean, that they are maintained throughout. The speaker, as I mentioned some time ago, and in the House, the speaker has taken an interest in it herself, for various reasons, and has written to me and said that as far as she's concerned, there are no obstacles in the way of having these meetings, and that the rules can be, whatever rules there are, we can apply.
Well done. Let me take this call. Good morning, caller. Welcome to Shakeup.
Good morning, Mr. Ferdinand.
Hey, Coach, good morning.
Were you saying this man is now learning to work with the committee? The finance committee.
But you hear the man mention himself?
No. Yeah, but what I'm wondering now, if you ain't do it all these years and you planning to take over government next election, which is in another year and a half, why you going to learn to do it now?
Because he anticipates another term in opposition.
That's why I call it.
Yeah. I mean,
because if I know I'm going to take over government and I ain't do something in 20-something years, I ain't want to learn that now because I'm taking over. I don't see myself taking over government, so I don't want to learn that. That would have no reason for me. They have no reason for me to learn to do that now. Another part of the question, another part of the statement you made. You're talking about INS and INS. I want you to actually tell people that INS in St. Vincent does invest money outside of St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
That's a fact, yes.
And in order for them to maintain
the fund
and able to fund people when they get sick,
correct,
they cannot just take in money that they're getting and just keep it in a bank like most homeowners do.
Correct.
And expect that money to multiply enough for pay or keep the funding going.
Correct.
They have to invest and invest properly.
But Coach, is the same thing in your neck of the woods where police fund the pension funds for police in different districts across the US of is the same thing they do. They invest money is also in other things to make sure that the fund is sustained.
Because you can't rely on the income alone. You can't rely on the taxes or the thing alone. If you don't invest, the Social Security, they hear they keep saying Social Security is going to get. Social Security are there because the government always depending on the Social Security in America.
Yep.
And they borrow and they invest.
Correct.
Social Security does invest
Correct.
in all kind of businesses, all kind of stuff. That's why it's solvent.
Yep.
That's why people might say, "Oh, they're gonna die in." You might have to tweak it because, as the Prime Minister said, the amount of people who work in today's world is lower than who was working back then.
Correct.
And so the intake is less. So you always have to tweak it and invest more and do all kind of thing in order to keep
As
it
a
going.
matter of fact,
But that's
even last year, I think the NIS in terms of the investment portfolio raised $10 million, which is a significant amount of money.
Yeah, but people have to understand these things. I mean, money without investment, money don't do nothing.
Yep. Correct.
You give me $10 today, and I don't do no investment in with that $10. 20 years long line is still $10.
And remember out of that $10, you'll have persons who will be claiming, whether it may be sickness, benefit, maternity, and the like, or injury. Yeah, you'll have persons claiming.
Right, all that. Yeah. So you can't. I mean, I don't understand people talking about they invest in the government, taxpayers' money. You wouldn't get no benefits if there's no investment.
Correct.
I can tell you that.
All right, man.
All right. I just started to make one point.
Blessed love, man. Excellent points. So yeah, he's now learning how to get it thing operational. As Kojo highlighted, man learning now because there's another term in opposition. At least he don't want to go down as the opposition who didn't get it thing working, as his predecessor, So he at least wants to make sure that, hey, before I retire out of politics in opposition, that at least they can say, I didn't get it thing, I didn't give you the people an experience as to how this thing really function, So, yeah. But mind you, he said that in February, we're now in November. And that tells you a lot. That if is for that alone, that you're learning today still, then why or not should I put you in government? That is a very serious question to ask. And make it better now. Elections, one may say, you don't know the date, but constitutionally, you have up until, I believe, February 2026. But it's not too far away. And the mere fact that now you're learning for it means that you're preparing again for the job. Not so? So one may say, well, hey, if you're preparing for this job again, then why should I take you serious about putting you and listening to you to say put you in government? Yep. But that is the opposition. And, again, I talk about hope, but I see we have a call coming in. Greetings, caller.
Greetings, my brother. How are you?
Greetings.
I just want to say to you, I've been begging for some common sense. And I've been begging common sense from the opposition party. And we saw one of the best run campaigns in North America ever, by Donald Trump. And that is all I want here of an opposition party, because I get more licks. As you know, I don't really give support to the ULP, but I get more licks, my brother, from the NDP. They blocked me out of the radio station. I think Margaret Landon would allow me to get in sometimes, and I got. And I've been begging for the very reality that we must work together. We must put away red and yellow, because you see your role must not be for the party, the ULP party. Your role must be for Vincentians. You have to have equal interest in NDP supporters, because I'm worried that if any time the NDP get in, that they're going to come for you and your family equally. I would not like that. You have to live. You have to be allowed to express yourself the way you want politically, even sometimes when you go wrong. And I warned them on a radio program about going at Candyman and spending the whole morning and running down Candyman. Donald Trump didn't make that mistake. He went at the throat of Joe Biden and Harris and the administration, the policies. He didn't go after the very individuals themselves. And I'm saying that I've been begging for the understanding that people must be allowed to express themselves. at least you allow me and make sure I put my number on so you could allow me to get in. Because my brother, you can work harder than I did to get Ralph Gonsalves Day. And what I wanted Ralph Gonsalves, not for Ralph Gonsalves to give me some favor to send me Jesco and put me on 10 votes. I wanted to be there because I wanted my country to work in the interest of defending people in democracy, the Constitution. One last thing, the Constitution. Under Section 76, 75, 76, 70, clearly states the role of the Auditor General, the Accountant General. And it has nothing to do with whether Leacock or somebody in terms of the Public Accounts Committee and the role of the Auditor General, the Accountant General. It is that in order for our monies to be accounted for, the Constitution must be adhered to. And we need the Section 70, 75, and 76, where the Auditor General must audit the books, not just of the government department, but the statutory bodies, the prisons, any NS, any government institutions, any taxpayers' money, anything must be audited. Not to take the word of Leacock and Friday and Ralph Gonsalves, but an independent auditor that must say, I examine the books and the administration is spending the money properly. When you don't have that, obviously anything can happen. When you take an accountant general, which is supposed to be independent, and maybe you might say Hamilton is not independent, you're not independent, so maybe we are cancelled from being an accountant general. Then you have to put somebody who is not in any loyalty to any party, much as to take a family member. And we have that situation. And I'm begging you, I'm holding Ralph Gonsalves and I'm holding Dr. Friday. In fact, let me make it clear before I come off. I don't want NDP to come in my yard again. Do you know, my brother, I've given my life, supported Annie Eustace, give support to Leacock on Friday, and just because I told them that they're different than Ralph Gonsalves, they don't understand politics, they don't know how to put people on the ground in the committee, they boast that they have people on the ground and nobody on the ground, and they're actually giving away elections, and they're going to give away not just this one to come, unless Friday Leacock and Cummins does not understand how you respect the politics of, just like what Joe Biden did, is that there's no way they will get it. Even though the majority of people want change, they're not going to get in. I love you very much for allowing me to speak. I hope and pray that you're sure that when you speak things that you're speaking truth, because even if you get away and you're defended by your leaders, God will not forget you and your children down to your fourth generation. Love you very much. Have yourself a safe day, my brother. God bless you.
All right, Amo. Well, the thing is, and for many of you who follow Parliament will know that you have statements coming before the House from different statutory bodies as well. One of the things I know the Vice President of the NDP will do time to time is read from the Auditor General's report. That's one of the things I do know that they do. So you have these reports and these statements that come before Parliament, but the mere fact the leader of the option continues to admit that, hey, he now learning on the job how to get the very thing that he is supposed to do, function, and work. That tells you a lot about the gentleman, and that tells you a lot about NDP. And there's another thing to it. And I spoke earlier about hope. But I see we have a call coming in. Greetings, caller.
Mr. Ferdinand.
Greetings.
The first speech that the Prime Minister made to this country in 2001, the first speech when he addressed this country, he said, let's be together now. He didn't say that a year after, 3 years after. The first speech he made to this country, he said, together now. And they said they didn't want to be part of that. They're not in that.
Correct.
So what are coming to talk about together now? What's the problem now that they want to be together now? I don't understand that. Get independent people. I would love to see that gentleman get all the independent people and put them in one section and let me have a look at them. You have a good day, sir.
Well, thank you for your contribution. Yeah, remember that very well too. As a matter of fact, even beyond that, After 2015 elections, the vice president of the NDP said they will not work together with the ULP on anything because they don't recognize the government. That is just the NDP for you, eh? It's just the NDP for you. That is why sometimes when you hear persons now suddenly talking about you need to work together, or you hear the opposition leader himself say, well, the government should invite the opposition, but you self said you're not recognizing the government. Remember they carry on this whole thing about illegitimate government elections, stolen this, that, terror. Sinclair Lecoq himself said that, hey, they will not be working with the government on anything because they don't recognize the government. And that is why sometimes I find it very interesting when you hear the leader of the opposition call for the government to invite them, or you hear comments say, well, the government should consult with them and this, that, and terror. It's always strange. But we talk about hope. And we talk about transformation, talk about development. And we can admit that we have a lot of vehicles in the country. We also can admit that in the evenings, especially given that the bulk of our population, a large chunk of our population, lives between South Windward to South Leeward, this southern belt. And therefore, you have a lot of traffic built up. Now, as I said before, we have the acute care hospital currently being constructed at Annesville. It is the anchor project for the city development at Annesville. We already have Joshua Mall, and kudos to the management of National Properties for converting that entire building into what it is. And it provides services, products, and food, while at the same time creating jobs for many persons. And the beauty about it is that a good chunk of the businesses in that building are local. And that too adds to the new city development. The vision of the government, the plan of the government with the new city development is to see how we can further alleviate traffic congestion in and out of Arnesville, Kingston area. The government, of course, is looking at whether building a tunnel on the Cane Garden. There was another option in looking to see whether you can go around Cane Garden itself, but it may be more costly. But one would think that understanding the situation, the issue of traffic congestion, understanding the need for more city development. I mean, Kingston, there's limited space as to where you can further develop. That the opposition in this country would understand that. But just as we heard the foolishness from Nigel Nature Stevenson, just as we heard the foolishness yesterday with Lecoq suggesting give each tourist 5 years per night, just as we hear the dotishness from both Francois about the government must be building a brothel at Diamond, I want you to listen to this foolishness now from the leader of the opposition.
Build something. They put a mock-up and say you're going to build a city in Annesville. Where you ever hear of a government build a city? I mean, that's just building infrastructure. Nonsense. And you're going to put a tunnel through Cane Garden.
You don't believe that?
On the King, eh?
You don't believe that can happen?
Well, I hope not. I mean,
why not?
Because it's not practical.
So what would be
the point of the matter is
your plan to deal with the traffic situation going to Kingston? Your alternative plan?
Yes, you have to improve the traffic into Kingston. I'll give you, this is just one example of a small thing that can be done that doesn't even require building a road. We need to have more people living in Kingston. That is going to do two things.
Kingston is congested already.
Kingston is not congested if you use the space properly. You need to have more people living in Kingston, just for the health of the city.
Sound like sense to you? The leader of the opposition says the government's plan of building a tunnel under Cane Garden is nonsense. But his brilliant idea of alleviating traffic congestion is to have more people living in Kingston just for the health of the city. Please, how does that make sense? Tell me, how does that make sense? Again, we talk about no hope, no vision, no real plan, no bright ideas. That is the opposition for you. I want to play it again. And you know, one of the things he said is, he said, where, boy, it's so funny. He said, where or not do you hear government building a city? You know, down south in Guyana, they're building a city called Silica City. Silica, Silica City. The government of Guyana. But you have the leader of the opposition asking where or not you hear government building a city. During V4 expansion is the same thing in St. Lucia. Castries expansion, sorry. Same thing. In Jamaica, New Kingston. Same thing. But the guy we call leader of the opposition here is asking where here government build a city. Yeah? And his brilliant idea to alleviate traffic congestion is to have more people living in Kingston. And he say, just for the health of the city. You know what more people living in Kingston means? Not just more traffic, but more what? Huh? More pollutants. Not so. You're going to have the place turned into a slum. But that is the leader of the opposition for you. But it's now 2 minutes past the hour of 12 o'clock here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We have a country to build, and the government is continuing to build out the transformation of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It's delivering. Holiday Inn Hotel to open on November 22nd. Acute care hospital is being built. Port project continues. Just this week, for tourist season, we welcome 10,000 cruise visitors. 10,000. Come Thursday, Unity Labour Party will be having its National Council meeting at 5 o'clock at Russell's Auditorium, and I know many comrades and members of the party will be there in the numbers. With that, I want to thank all those of you who called in and interact with me on the program. Take care, be blessed, and have a safe and wonderful afternoon.
3, 2, 1.